Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2, the big problem. So we briefly touched base on this, but I'm going to dive a lot deeper in this particular video. You see, the biggest problem is not getting your site set up to sell, but rather getting your students to consume your course. Here's a big quick fact. Did you know that most students consume less than 10% of a course? So what happens is they buy a course, they're excited about it, but they just don't finish it. So you might have people finishing your course, but let's say out of 100 or even out of 1,000 people, that number actually becomes very, very small. And there's a big reason for that, which we'll touch base in just a second. So the goal here, as you can imagine, is not only to set up your online course onto your WordPress site and set it up so that you can start selling it, but also to get your students excited to go through your course. And here's why. It's a known fact that if you can get your students to consume your course, they're going to want to buy more from you. They're going to feel like, wow, I really enjoyed that course. I want more. So if you put yourself in their shoes and maybe you've bought a course and you just never have finished it, or maybe you have gone through a course and you feel like, wow, I got so much value out of this. I want to see if this person has a different course. So in other words, you feel impacted by that person. So with the law of reciprocation, you want to seek them out more. So the big question is, how do you go about doing this? Well, to set the stage, we're going to be covering this in a lot more depth in this course. But what you want to do is you will want to prep your course outline and lay it all out so that it is easy to consume. Now, obviously, you already have an online course in hand. What we're doing here is we are basically going to break things down so that you can see, okay, the first thing, this is what they see this video afterwards, or maybe in between these videos, we could add something else that's highly engaging and things like that. So it's not necessarily that you are having to re-edit your course. It's basically making it more engaging, all right? And it'll make more sense in just a second. So in other words, you want to make sure that your experience is as easy as possible. You want to add engagement through quizzes, through forums, or a comment section. You also want to gamify, or in other words, make the course fun. So you can go all out. You can even use a system like GammaPress.com and integrate it into certain WordPress plugins. And you can do things like, okay, somebody gets points when they log in, they get points when they do certain things within the course, and maybe they can rack up those points and use that points to buy other things. So as you can imagine, even as adults, if you gamify things, it increases the chance of somebody actually consuming your course. All right, so now that you have a general overview of the big problem, kind of what we need to do, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the experience. So how can we increase that consumption rate through the experience? Hello and welcome to video number 5. Let's talk about the recommended WordPress LMS plugin. So as you saw in the previous video, there are tons and tons of different WordPress LMS plugins, but we recommend LearnDash. And the reason why we recommend LearnDash is it's based on Fortune 500 company courses. So the guy behind it is very knowledgeable of learning management systems. So he's not just someone who decided, oh, one day I'm going to create this and I have no experience. It's somebody who actually has experience and created it based on their experience. And looking through LearnDash, utilizing it ourselves, we've come to like it. And what's nice about LearnDash is it also integrates into a lot of other plugins, such as GammaPress.com, which allows you to gamify your online course, and much more. So that's something else that you want to think about is, does the WordPress plugin that I'm using going to integrate with a lot of other WordPress plugins? Because if it doesn't, it kind of limits your ability to grow. It might work now, but as you grow, that'll create more problems later down the road. So let's jump on into LearnDash, and I'll give you a quick overview of how things are laid out. Okay, so before I give you a quick overview of LearnDash, I want to briefly talk about LearnDash, the add-ons that it offers, and integration into things like GammaPress.com. So if you go to LearnDash.com and you go to add-ons, you'll be able to see, besides the main features, what it can integrate into. So for example, it can integrate into WooCommerce, Stripe, different shopping carts, so that allows you to take in money. You can do a course grid, which makes your courses look nice. You can integrate it into BuddyPress, which basically makes it into kind of like a Facebook atmosphere. You got LearnDash notifications. You got bbPress, which is private forums. It also integrates into a lot of membership WordPress plugins. So I highly recommend that you come here to this site just to kind of get a view of what it provides so that you can see the potential of growing your site. So like I said, LearnDash is primarily for creating courses and uploading your courses. But if you combine the power of courses, community, and fun or gamification, those three components combined together can actually make it so addicting that people will not leave your community. So if you go to GammaPress.com, that's GamiPress, G-A-M-I, press.com, this integrates into LearnDash. Now you can see the potential here. So for example, you can click on social. So you could connect GammaPress with YouTube or Vimeo. So in other words, you can give people points based on if they watch a certain amount of video. They can do other things. Let's click on all. In fact, I'll click on Pro add-ons. So they have free add-ons that you can use, and they have Pro add-ons as well. So you can see here, if people refer their friends, they can get points for that. Another thing is daily login rewards. So that way you can get people to come back to your site and log in every single day. And by doing that, they get rewards and they get points that they could potentially use to buy other things. So now to integrate that, you would have to install something like WooCommerce. And from WooCommerce, that is the sort of the bridge between GammaPress and LearnDash. It enables you to set things up so that people can get points. They can use those points to perhaps get discounts or even get certain things from your WooCommerce shop. So I wanted to show you that because that's very, very powerful to have. Okay, so now what I want to do is give you a quick overview of LearnDash. And LearnDash has been integrated into one of our sites. As you can see here, it says LearnDash LMS. And once you've installed it, you can go to Overview. And I want to point out that in addition to all the features that LearnDash offers you, it also offers you a lot of helpful documentation and learning information. So a lot of times when you purchase software or get access to web applications, they don't really offer you enough information on how to implement their plugin. So a lot of times you are left with trying to figure things out yourself. So fortunately for you, though, LearnDash is so popular, you could either do it yourself or you could hire somebody on Upwork.com or other freelancing sites to actually set things up for you. Now, if we scroll up here, under Learn-LMS, we have courses. So that's pretty self-explanatory, but courses are essentially a series of videos. So one course could have different lessons. So think of lessons kind of like a section. So for example, lessons could be sections. So you could have like section A, section B, section C, and then within the lessons, you can have topics. All right. And this will give you a better idea when we take a look at a live site. So to give you an idea of what a Learn Dash course looks like. So this is chemistry, and this is a course. So it's going to have the title, the description, the teacher here. And of course, you can start the course. You can see the course includes 2 lessons, 4 topics, and 1 quiz. So it's really not laid out really nice. Now, it really depends on your WordPress theme. So you want to keep in mind that your WordPress theme is going to make the styling a little bit different. So the styling that you see here may be a lot different than your styling. So that's a demo course. Right here is inside of the course of the chemistry course. And as you can see here, right here, these are sections, and these sections are basically what we call lessons. And underneath the lessons, these right here are topics. So we got course here, we got lessons, and then we've got topics. So as we can see here, once you've watched the video, and you can upload your videos, like I said earlier, to Vimeo or any other video hosting site. And it's really easy to create this. All you have to do is embed the video, add some text, and that's it. So as you can imagine, if somebody's going through here, when they're done, they click on Mark Complete. And what's nice about Learn Dash is it pushes them to the next step. All right, so courses, lessons, topics, and then we got quizzes, which I'll discuss later down the road. We'll also discuss certificates later on. We've got assignments, we've got groups, we have reports, we have add-ons, and settings. Now, within add-ons, that allows you to add different elements to your learning management system. So we showed you earlier, if you go to the Learn Dash website and you go to add-ons at the top, you'll be able to get a list of different add-ons that you can use and integrate into your site. Now, if we go into a course, in this case, we have philosophy, you can see that there's the title, the description right here. And then if you click on the builder, this allows you to build your course out. So we have the sections here, so we can move things around. And as you can see, it's very easy. You can simply drag and drop things. So you've got lessons here. And if you click the drop down here, you've got the topics here. And you can drop quizzes in between these videos if you want to do that. So you see why we mapped everything out in the past videos. This way we know exactly what steps to create once we get into Learn Dash. So we got settings and we've got groups. What's nice about this is you can create groups. So as you can see here, I've created the world history group, and you can say, okay, the world history group over here has access to this course. So anybody who's taking this course is automatically dumped in to this particular group. So maybe you have one group that encompasses lots of different courses. Or if you want to have an individual separate group for every single one of your courses, you can do that as well. So now that you have a brief overview of Learn Dash, let's move on to the next video. Okay, just want to say congratulations. You've reached the end of this course. This is, of course, video number 8, and this is about prestige and fun. So, telling somebody congrats, you finished the course in the form of a certificate can go a long way. So, as you can imagine, most online courses don't have certificates. And if they do, a lot of times they don't have custom certificates with the person's name on them. So people's name is very, very important. Acknowledging people, giving them acknowledgement, prestige, and making things fun can actually go a long way. It's a known fact that people feel more connected when they are acknowledged. So, for example, studies have shown that in terms of jobs, people prefer being acknowledged a lot of times more than earning extra money. So a lot of times initially they think, oh, okay, I'm earning lots of money. But if you get into a job and you hate it, you're not being acknowledged, your boss, yells at you all the time, then it's not fun. And you're constantly thinking, how can I get out of this situation? But there's been studies showing where companies will purposely try to, acknowledge people like good job, great job, or let's model this person's success. Let's, do this and do that. And it brings them up so that they're not just acknowledged, but they feel valuable. So it gives them a sense of value, of prestige, and that they are set apart. In this case, from people who are taking the course. So maybe you can have a leaderboard. You can show people who have completed the course and maybe people who are highly engaged in your community. And you can do this with integration with GammaPress.com. So in other words, adding gamification in the form of badges, maybe they've earned, can actually go a long way and can also add to the fun and prestige. So that's what we mean by fun and prestige. So let's discuss how you can go about integrating these two elements. So let's start things off with adding certificates to the system. So in order to do that, you can go to google.com, you can type in certificates, school blank, Pixabay, or whatever you want. So Pixabay is a site where you can find a lot of royalty-free images that you can use. So in other words, you don't have to pay any money to use these images. Now, when you look for a course certificate template, you want to find a template that doesn't have a lot of words, because what you're going to eventually do is you're going to place text on top of the image. So whenever somebody completes a course, what the system will do is it'll auto-generate, put their name or whatever you want here into the template. So it's okay to have some words, but you do want to have some bare spots. So for example, if you had a certificate that had a lot of words like this, that would not work. So all you need to do is simply download one of these. So let's go back up here. And I actually downloaded one earlier and I uploaded it as an example. But if you go over here and you can click on add new certificate, but I actually went ahead and did it here. So click on edit. What you need to do is simply scroll down. You select the featured image as that image. All right. So once you do that, you click on update, and then you need to go back to the courses. And the reason why is because under the courses, there's a section for, in the settings, if we go back to the courses here, that will allow you to connect the certificate to the course. So let's go to courses, let's click on edit, and we'll go to the settings. So click on settings here. And it says course certificate. All right, so Once you have uploaded that image, you need to go back to the courses. You need to go under the settings here and click the drop-down menu. And as you can see, it says test 1. So test 1 was the certificate. So I click that, click on update. So now whenever somebody completes that course, they will get the certificate that we created with auto-generated information on that certificate. So once you've done that, you can simply go back to the certificate section. You click on edit right here, and we get sent back here. Once you do that and you click on visual, the certificate will show up. Now, here's what you're going to need to do. The reason why you want to have an empty space here is because you are going to need to move your mouse eventually over here. Now, I can't do that. You kind of have to move it up here first. And then you can move things around like so. Now, if you're wondering where in the world did I get this information? So what you need to do is scroll to the top under Learn Dash Shortcodes. You click on User Meta, and then it says Field. So what you need to do is select user first name, user last name. So these are elements that you can add to the certificate. So if we did first name, which we actually did earlier, and it did last name, so we'll just do first name, click on Insert Shortcode. What that will do is it'll insert the shortcode wherever your mouse is. So in this case, we have first name. Now the user isn't going to see this text. So whenever the certificate is generated, they're going to see their name. So you could say, congratulations on completing this course, first name, last name, and that's it. So that's basically how to do it. It's really easy. It's not complex at all. Really what takes time is finding a certificate or even creating one that looks nice. And of course, once you're done, you simply click on update, and that's it. Now, in terms of gamification and making things fun, you'll need to go to add-ons, and we'll need to find the Gamma Press, which it should be under third party. And there it is. So I'm not going to do it now, but you can simply click on Install Now. And of course, I talked about gammapress.com in the previous videos, so you should have already seen that. With GammaPress, you can start out with the free add-ons first, check out the pro add-ons, and pick and choose what you want. Don't go all out, because otherwise that will definitely overwhelm you. And that's it. So it's a fact. Selling courses online is a great business model, but the problem is getting your course set up and ready to be sold and ready to be consumed by your students. Now, there are a variety of solutions to creating a learning environment for your customers. These range from $97 per month SaaS platforms all the way down to WordPress plugins. Now, here's the truth. Not everyone wants to be stuck with an online platform that they don't own. And maybe you want to use WordPress because you already have a WordPress site. So what if there was a way to set up your online course on your WordPress site, and a site that you own, and that can never be shut down? I want to introduce you to a brand new 8-part step-by-step video course on how to set up an engaging online course on your WordPress site. Now, if you're concerned about technical aspects and you might be not tech savvy at all, don't worry. This is a simple watch over my shoulder, step-by-step, click-by-click video course. So here's a quick overview of what's inside this video course. Video number 1 is the introduction. We'll talk about a brief overview of the course and an idea of what you need to have to get started. Video number 2, we'll talk about a big overlooked problem and a big reason why a lot of potential students and customers come in to courses and never complete a course, which is something that most people never think about. Because the reality is, if you can get people to consume your whole course, they're most likely going to consume your other courses. Video number 3, we'll talk about the experience. This is also another big overlooked issue. The experience that your students have from the beginning to the end is crucial. Video number 4, we'll talk about different WordPress learning management system plugins that are available to you. Video number 5, we'll talk about our recommended WordPress LMS plugin that we highly recommend. And video number 6, we'll talk about the consumption boost. So you'll kind of get an idea that in this course, our goal is not just to set up the online course and to sell it, but to get people to consume it and not become overwhelmed. So we'll talk about that in video number 6, how to increase that percentage. Video number 7, we'll talk about engagement, how to engage with your students and get them to stay, because that's a big thing. Video number 8, we'll talk about prestige and fun. In other words, how to get people to feel valued to stay and how to give them a little bit of fun so that they are enjoying the experience. The more fun that they can have, even if the video course is serious, the more that they are going to complete the course. So as you can see here, the theme here is getting people to complete your course by consuming everything. So with that said, go ahead and grab this course now and learn how to set up your highly engaging course today. Hello, and just want to say congratulations on getting access to this video course on how to take your online course and setting it up on WordPress so that you can begin to accept sales. All right, so let's jump right in to the introduction here. Now, I want to make things clear here, and the condition of this course is that we assume that you already have an online course and the videos on hand. So this video course is not about how to create an online course. It's just merely taking that course and setting it up on your WordPress site. So now that we've gotten that clarification out of the way, what I want to do now is give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course. This is video number 1. Video number 2, we're going to talk about the big problem. So before we dive in and talk about how to, set things up and all the technical aspects of everything, we want to tackle a major problem and a major reason why most people do not consume your course. We'll dive into it a lot deeper, but statistically they say that only about 10% of your online course is consumed, meaning most of your students will come in, they'll buy your course, and they'll only consume about 10%, and then they'll quit. So we need to combat that, right? We need to set the experience up so that we can increase that number. So that is what that video is all about. And as you can imagine, that is crucial to tackle before we talk about the technical aspect of setting things up, because actually setting things up is actually very easy. Video number 3, we're going to talk about the experience. So once we understand the problem, we need to understand how to make a better experience for your students so that they consume the online course from start to finish. And then we'll talk about the technical aspect in video number 4, such as the WordPress LMS plugin. And LMS stands for Learning Management System. And it's basically a system that allows you to set up your online course. So it's the environment that surrounds the course. So once I've given you a broad overview of different plugins that are out there and available to you, video number 5, we'll talk about recommended WordPress LMS plugin that we highly recommend. And of course, video number 6, we're going to talk about consumption boost. So based upon the big problem, how do we not only combat it, but boost the consumption rate? How do we get people to engage with this, to continue to the end? And of course, video number 7, we'll talk about engagement. How do we get people to engage with your online course? And last but not least, we got video number 8, which is prestige and fun. And all that means is trying to make people feel good about themselves as they complete your course. And we'll talk more about that and why that's important and all of that. So let's talk about getting started. What do you need? So you obviously need to have your course. You need to have the videos in hand. So the video files, the MP4 files, whatever video files that you have, you need to have them in hand. Now, if you don't have this already, that's fine. You can do this later. We're not really going to discuss this, but you will need to take those videos and you will need to upload them to a video hosting company. So for example, we've got Vimeo.com. We recommend that highly. And Wistia.com is another video hosting. And once you set all these up, you can take the embed codes and then, of course, enter it into LearnDash or whatever WordPress LMS plugin that you desire to use. And of course, you'll need to have some money to purchase a WordPress LMS plugin. There are some free ones out there, but what we found over the years is that free is not always the best. So you want to make sure that you put yourself on a good platform that is constantly updated and grows as you grow. So with that said, let's move on to video number 2.